Hello, my name's Elisa Enriquez. I'm the APS Ombuds, and today I'm going to talk about some quick tips to de-escalate conflict. Today we're going to talk about why diffusing conflict is a key skill when it arises, how to de-escalate conflict with some quick tips, and reflect on how you can use these tips to become more conflict capable. Remember that we perceive things based on our filters, culture, styles, and background. So we have different tendencies and varying levels of comfort when it comes to conflict management. We can build better relationships at APS and anywhere by learning how to diffuse destructive conflict for more productive conflict or productive dialogue. So, Myra Golden is a conflict de escalation expert, and she offers three things that you can do immediately when you want to de escalate conflict. The first is to create calm in yourself and others. The second is to be assertive rather than aggressive or passive. And this helps you take charge in order to move forward. When you think about creating calm with a pause, start with yourself first. Think about what you might need. Is it a 5-minute break, a timeout, or simply 5 seconds? One, two, three, 4, 5. Consider your tone of voice, your body language, and your facial expression. Finally, are you listening first to react or choosing a response? Bill Eddy of the High Conflict Institute has stated that a good ear statement can help when you're trying to create calm in others. You don't need to use all three, but you can. Sometimes just empathy is enough. I hear that you're upset. It sounds like that was a difficult experience. Other times, you might want to make sure the person knows that they are being attended to. Show them attention by saying something like, "Tell me what's going on. I want to understand what's happening." You can also show respect by explaining to them that you appreciate their willingness to solve the problem and that you respect their efforts when they are dealing with an issue. One of the most important things to remember in conflict de escalation is our tone of voice, facial expression, and body language. Being assertive is very different from being aggressive or being passive. When you think about aggression, it involves us being right and wanting to win, taking care of our own needs, but not the relationship. For example, this is how it is. You stay in your lane. Whereas being assertive really is mindful of your own needs as well as the other person's needs. I see your point, and I have another idea. Being passive might include not saying anything at all, creating silence, or going along with something that you don't believe in. That's fine. I don't mind if we do it that way. This can actually lead to more escalation in the future where things fester. It's important to be mindful of how we can remain assertive while we're also being calm. A fun conflict resolution technique is the yes and approach, and it is also referred to as yes and thinking. It's a rule of thumb in improv comedy that suggests that an improviser should accept what another improviser has stated with a yes and then expand on that line of thinking. The principle does not forbid disagreements between the improviser's characters, but states that one should not reject their premise either. Consider how we can use this together when we're trying to move a conversation forward and have more effective brainstorming, for example. Let's say someone makes a statement that says, "That will never work. You know that the leadership won't offer us the funds to do that." You might think at that moment, while you're pausing, "Wait, what? Brainstorming is actually a really important part of putting ideas on the table without judgment. At that point, you have to choose, and you might choose to use a yes and approach. Yes, I hear your concern about potential issues with this, and we're in the brainstorming phase, so we can assess whether or not it will work later. This simple approach can be used over and over again, and consider the next time you might want to say no, but instead say yes, and. Here's an example of how, when you put several of these conflict de escalation tips together, you can diffuse conflict and create dialogue. You're covering for another member of the unit while they're out on leave. Like others, you're a volunteer. While supporting the unit, you receive a phone call from another APS member who is irate about not having received something from the person who is on leave. When you explain that you're not sure what they are referring to and that the person's out for another 2 weeks, they angrily state, I don't care about excuses. I need this done last week and I need it now. Remember to pause, stay calm, and create calm. Move the conversation forward while you're assertively taking action. Yes, I hear you're concerned about not getting what you need and can offer to send an email to the unit leader relaying that this is an urgent matter to be addressed as soon as possible. Once I receive a response, you will be informed immediately. To recap, remember to create calm in yourself and others with a pause and listen with ear, empathy, attention, and respect. Be assertive rather than aggressive or passive, and take charge. You can move forward by using yes and rather than no but. Thanks again for your time. I hope these quick tips and tools will help create a more conflict capable APS.